Happy Sip and Sparkle Sunday. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Lisa. Cheers.
Cheers. So good to see you.
As they say
yes.
in Ireland. It's good to be with you.
It's good to be with you too. Yummy. All right. So for those of you who are just joining us, I host a weekly Sip and Sparkle Sunday series. And the purpose is to interview local business owners, small business owners in the community, just to create awareness, join networks, and educate our viewers on the resources that we have out there at their fingertips. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we'll go from there.
Great. Well, I thank you for the opportunity, first of all.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. Never done anything quite like this before. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Cool.
So my name is Bob Roden. I am a co-owner and a travel advisor with a cruise planners franchise called Utmost Travel.
Okay.
So there are a lot of cruise planners franchises out there. We're a full-service travel agency. There are a lot of cruise planners franchisees out there, which is awesome. They're a great support network to each other, but there are a lot of us, so we have to come up with a DBA.
Okay.
And it's Utmost Travel. And so we encourage people, if they want to check us out, talk to us, to look up Utmost Travel as opposed to just cruise planners, because they'll just be overwhelmed with the number of businesses that come up.
Okay.
So we're a full-service travel agency. We started, I think we actually purchased our franchise at the very end of 2016.
Okay.
So we're in our third year.
Oh, wow. I thought it was a lot longer than that.
Yeah, it feels that longer than that some days.
It feels like an eternity.
We're having a great time. We've been growing like a weed. Most travel agents work out of their homes, which is one of the perks of the business, but we go to where our clients are. And so, unlike a retail environment where the consumer has to go to you, we love the fact that we can pack up our stuff and our laptop and go meet with our clients.
Nice.
And on their time, whether it's for coffee or it's a glass of wine or some dinner, and kind of talk through what they want to do, where they want to go, what kind of travelers they are.
Oh, good point.
It's a really big deal. Yeah. Actually, the travel style is probably one of the biggest. When we interview clients for the first time, don't have to do it a second time typically. When we interview them the first time, we ask a lot about their style. Like, are they chill out vacationers, right? Because some vacationers want to
beach it.
Yeah, they want to be on the beach. They want to have a margarita in their hand, and that's all they care about. A nice beach, a nice hotel, and a margarita. Others are like, oh, heck no. If I'm going to X place, I want to see places. I want to do things. I want to take a hot air balloon ride. I want to zip line through the forest, that sort of thing. So we have to kind of sort through all of that so that our recommendations, both for the resorts and destinations and the activities that they take part in, really fit what's a bucket list for them.
Okay. So obviously it's not just cruises.
It is not just cruises. I hope that for the folks in the McKinney Chamber community, I think that they probably discerned that by now. But we are a Cruise Planners franchise, which is awesome. Right. Because we have access to hundreds of different vendors, including all the cruise lines, airlines, tour operators, resorts, pretty much you name it. So that's all great. But from an education standpoint, saying that we're with Cruise Planners initially gets people to go, oh, so that's all you do is cruises, right? Yeah. In fact, we just got back, you know this, we just got back from an 11-day trip to Ireland, which was amazing.
It looked phenomenal.
We've sent groups we sent an alumni group from a Ivy League college to an East Coast resort for an alumni reunion.
Oh, how cool.
They just got back the other day as well, same day that we wrapped up.
All right.
And so we send and take groups all the time, whether it's a land-based trip or a cruise trip.
Okay.
We do sell a lot of cruises.
There's right. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, we sell a lot of cruises. It's easy to find us from that standpoint, but we have a lot of fun. I will say this, Lisa, my wife is outstanding at the things that I'm really, really bad at. So she's really organized. Okay. She's very administratively gifted. Okay. And she loves to just punch away at the computer and find really great resources, destinations, build itineraries, customized trips and all that sort of stuff. I would just fall flat on my feet if that was me. Right. And so one of the things that I think we've tried to do to differentiate ourselves a little bit from travel agents in general is we really kind of focus on customized itineraries. So if somebody says, hey, you know what, Bob, I want to go to Peru. My husband and I want to go to Peru, and we want to do a hiking expedition for 1 week, and we want to do horseback the next week, and these are the places where we want to be.
Oh, wow.
We can do that.
Okay.
Right? You go to an Expedia or Travelocity,
yeah,
probably not going to find that
no.
trip.
Yeah. Yeah, that was going to be my question. Why would somebody want to go through you and not go through Priceline, Expedia, just on their own?
Well, it's a really fair question, because a lot of people are still kind of surprised that we even exist.
Right.
Right? And so here's how I would answer it. In the age of the internet, travel was the first category to get online advertising and online transactions. From an e-commerce standpoint, the travel category jumped in really fast, and they took off. And there are a lot of great companies out there that provide services and that provide trips and that sort of thing for consumers. What's happened, though, is as an industry matures, like the internet matures, within the travel segment, there's been a lot of consolidation. And so right now, over 90% of the largest online travel sites, they're run by two companies.
Oh, really?
And so if you go, for instance, to Travelocity, and if, say, you've got your browser open, you open up Travelocity, and you open up Expedia, you're going to see different logos, but you're not going to see a lot of other difference between the two sites because they're owned by the same company.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, so consumers have kind of gotten frustrated, right? Because they're like, well, I go to Travelocity, I go to Expedia, I go to Orbitz, I go to Booking.com. I can't tell what's a good deal anymore because it all kind of looks the same.
Right.
And so what we say is you really shouldn't need to burn 3 sunny Saturday afternoons piecing your trip together. When we'll do it for you, we don't charge a fee for what we do.
Oh, wow.
Because we get paid by those hotels and resorts and tour companies and cruise lines and airlines for bringing the business to them.
Okay. So why wouldn't you use you?
Well,
especially if you're going somewhere you have no idea where you're going.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of interesting that the tide is sort of turning there. A lot of our newer clients have said, you know what, Bob, I never thought I really wanted or needed to use a travel agent again. And I gave you a shot, and I'm like, now I'm sold. Whether it's you or somebody else, I'm going to use travel agents because why would I want to take all the burden of that on myself?
Right.
I'm not paying any more to have you do all the kind of the heavy lifting,
right.
if you will.
Exactly. So because you are paid by the hotels, resorts, what have you, so you get to travel all over the place to kind of see these places ahead of time. So if somebody's asking for something very specific, you're like, oh, I don't know.
That's a really big deal, and it's really important to us. So great example is we were in Cancun not too long ago for a company training and conference event. Well, while we were there, we saw a half dozen other resorts other than the one we stayed in. And we got some official tours, kind of behind the scenes tours of those resorts as well. And so to your very point, what that does is that lets us know, even though there are hundreds of resorts in Cancun, we got to see a slice of them, and we're better informed about them. As a matter of fact, the resort, I won't name it, but the resort where we stayed for our conference, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for a client. And so you kind of take that intelligence and that experience, and you kind of go, gosh, the guys up the street, absolutely, I'd send a client there in a heartbeat, and they're going to love it. The place where I stayed, I'm not going to talk bad about them, but I probably wouldn't send somebody to them because they don't deliver the experience the way others do.
Ah, very interesting. So if you have like miles, let's say somebody comes to you and says, oh, I've got all these frequent flyer miles or bonus points with whatever. Can you work with those?
Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know if it was strictly, no, I take you where I want to take you, or you can work with
absolutely. And so at its core, to your question, at its core, we'll do anything we can to accommodate our clients. Budgets, to accommodate what points or miles they have. A lot of times, obviously, with airline miles, they can apply them to a trip on the flights piece. Although, here's an interesting piece. We packaged up a trip for, I think it was about 10 people during spring break to Hawaii. And one of those people is a very heavy business traveler. And so when I first talked to him, he said, you know what, Bob, I think I'm going to buy the flights on my own. I'm actually going to cash in points for those flights. And I said, no, that's fine. I said, I'll give you a comparison, though, of the cost of the package, the flight and the hotel, versus the cost of the hotel alone, and you redeem your points for the flights. He didn't use his points for the flights because it was a much better total package for him. And so he reserved those points for another future trip that he would take. Now, one of the great things, though, is because we're an American Express representative, we work really closely with American Express, and we can take their points and apply them to trips very transparently, very easily. The other nice thing about being an American Express representative, and there aren't many travel agencies that are, is that it gives us the opportunity to extend some perks that come through American Express travel to our clients as well. And you don't have to be a card member to enjoy most of those perks.
Okay, I love it. So let's say somebody wants to go to Europe, and they have like X amount of budget, whatever, but they really have no idea what they want to see. I mean, they've heard maybe, but I mean, how would you guide them? What would you say?
Boy, that's a phenomenal question, and I think it's where we can probably shape their experience the best. So we go back to that kind of qualifying interview, if you will. So we talk to them about, do you want mostly a cultural experience? Do you want a historical experience? Do you want a architectural experience? Right? And so what are your hot buttons? When you come back, what do you want to say is like, this was the highlight of the trip. I got to do this or see this. And invariably, and maybe one of the other levers would be, high activity. Really, I want to compete in some sport overseas or something. I don't know, right? But we'll ask those questions so that we can get a really much better idea of the kind of pace that they'll take on their trip, and the destinations that we want to suggest. And a lot of times they might say, to your point, Lisa, that they may say, I want to go to Germany. My family came from Germany. Aside from that, I know nothing about Germany.
That would be me.
And a lot of people, and that's fine, right? So we say, well, okay, so you haven't been there. Do you want to see the major destinations while you're there? Do you want to see Frankfurt and Munich? And do you want to see castles and museums? And we just ask a lot of questions so that at the end of the day, we've kind of painted this word picture for ourselves to plan with, that they say, you nailed it. This is exactly what I want. From that point, we'll do our research for them. We build a really nice online proposal that they can review. They can actually click on links of destinations and hotels and activities to see more information that's just in the summary. Obviously, we attach a budget to that. If they want to share it with family because they're considering inviting other people to go, they could just go and send it off to the family and say, what do you think? Do you want to join us for this? We schedule a follow-up call to kind of work through any open items with them. And once they say, you've met our criteria, you heard us well, you met our criteria, we go ahead and start to put the pieces together for them and get them going.
Very cool. So how far in advance do people need to contact you? I know probably domestically it's not as far out as international, maybe. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But so just ballpark, how far in advance, if somebody's kind of formulating, I want to do a trip, when should they be having a conversation with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. General rule, I say 6 months is a good guideline.
Okay, regardless of domestic or international?
No, domestic, we don't actually do a lot of domestic trips.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, what we've learned that's interesting about the McKinney community specifically is they like cruises, but they like the value cruises out of Galveston, thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Port something. That wasn't coming out right.
Port Galveston.
So Royal Caribbean and Carnival sail out of Galveston, right? So they love those. Many of our clients have already done a lot of cruises out of Galveston. But for a cruise, pretty short window, typically, unless it's just really running up to the weeks before the trip. Other than that, what we found with the McKinney community is a lot of the trips that we plan are Europe. It's Ireland, it's Italy, it's England, it's a river cruise, or it's an ocean cruise, but it's overseas.
Okay.
And that kind of surprised us, quite frankly.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to expect when we started calling on the McKinney marketplace, if you will. But what I typically say to folks is, yes, we're a cruise planners franchise, but about 80+% of what we put together for clients is not cruises, it's land. and about half of that is Europe.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, that said, we can do anything.
Oh, right.
If somebody wants a national parks tour.
Oh, fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Happy to put that together, and we have great partners for things like that. But what we're typically asked for are Europe, groups, all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean, right, that sort of thing, and then private tours. Private tours where we kind of put all the pieces together, get them a professional guide local in the area where they are visiting to kind of chauffeur them around and educate them.
Okay, awesome. So how do people get a hold of you when they want to book their next trip?
Yes, I appreciate you asking.
It's kind of an important thing.
Yeah, super important. So they can always call me.
Okay.
972-971-6562. My email address is pretty easy too. It's bob.roden@cruiseplanners.com. Our Facebook page is cruiseplanners-utmosttravel.com. Or, I should have mentioned this right off the bat. We have a website.
Yes.
It is utmosttravel.com, and there is a chat feature there. You can actually say, boom, I want to talk to them and see what they can do. Yeah.
Okay. So what is, kind of in closing, what is maybe the most, I don't want to say bizarre, but unique experience that you have planned for somebody?
Wow.
Or a group?
Yeah. I'd say that trip to Peru was pretty interesting because it is so different. We also planned around the same time, interestingly enough, we also planned a motorcycle tour
through
the Andes.
Oh, that's cool.
For another client.
Wow. Just him or her?
It was a couple.
It was a couple.
And so we had to secure the motorcycles and the insurance and figure out their lodging and all that sort of stuff. I think the most interesting trip that we ever took was on the Amazon River.
Oh, that would be cool.
Where we traveled and slept on a riverboat in open-air hammocks.
Wow.
And visited different villages every day.
Oh, wow.
So we would wake up and we would be docking at a village, and we'd go up and meet the villagers, and it was kind of a voluntourism thing where we actually did some medical and dental and eyeglasses sort of services for them to help them out.
Interesting.
But I'm always amazed at what people will ask for, and it's really fun for us to qualify what they're looking for and shape it for them, and then present it to them and have them say, this is it.
You nailed it.
This is it. Let's get this thing going. So
that's so exciting. I know my husband and I really want to go to Italy. And we know like some places there, but we've never been. So we would be at, your direction, obviously. And that's like huge bucket list for me. Like top bucket list.
That may have been my favorite trip,
It's what I hear. Everybody who goes to Italy, it's like, oh gosh, if I could go anywhere again, it would be Italy. I don't know. We liked Paris a lot too. Paris was pretty awesome.
Pretty amazing.
It is. I know. I'm traveling now. Anything
working.
else? I know, it is working. It is working. Well, anything else before we close?
No, I mean, we just appreciate the opportunity to work with anybody that's interested. And I would close with this. If you're not going to work with us, work with a travel agent. There's so many of us out there, and there's so many good travel agents right here in the local Collin County community. There's really no reason to burn a lot of cycles on your own putting a trip together. Very few travel agents charge a service fee. Some do, but very few do.
Okay.
And if they do, good for them.
Yeah.
We just decided that we are compensated just fine by the travel providers that we send the business to. So that'd be my last comment, is just give us a chance. We're back. We're alive. We're here, and we're happy to serve you.
Plus, he's an awesome guy too.
Well,
I've known you for several years now through links in the McKinney Chamber. So super nice guy, and you can't go wrong using Bob and his wife. So, all right. Well, until next Sunday, may you sip and sparkle. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.